They call it the wildest ride in the wilderness. And for most guests, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is exactly that. 3 minutes of sharp turns, speeding trains, and Disney magic in the desert. But beneath the echoes of the dynamite blasts and the rickety wooden tracks lies a history that's not so family-friendly. This runaway mine train has seen its share of darkness. And today, we're diving deep into the ride's history, the myths, and the accidents that Disney doesn't tell you about. So buckle up, because this episode might just be the wildest ride you've ever taken. You are listening to Death Kiss Traveler, the podcast that dives deep into history, horror, and hauntings of your favorite places. I'm Marissa, your morbidly curious host. Follow me on TikTok or Instagram at Death Kiss Traveler Podcast. I will post videos and photos and keep you updated on current ride accidents. Hit that subscribe button, and if you are loving this podcast, please give me a 5-star review wherever you are listening. I really appreciate the support. Now let's get into our story. The roots of Big Thunder Mountain Railroad trace back to the early 1970s, when Disneyland sought to expand its offerings with a new attraction that combined thrilling elements with immersive storytelling. Exactly what Disney's good at. Imagineer Tony Baxter, then a young designer, was instrumental in conceptualizing the ride. Inspired by the rugged landscape of the American Southwest, particularly Bryce Canyon in Utah, Baxter envisioned a roller coaster set in a haunted gold mining town. The project faced delays due to other priorities, such as construction of Pirates of the Caribbean and Space Mountain. However, by the mid-1970s, the concept gained momentum. The ride was designed to fit into the existing Frontierland area, replacing the aging mine train through Nature's Wonderland, which had operated from 1960 to 1977. Construction of Big Thunder Mountain Railroad began in 1978. The design team, led by Tony Baxter and veteran Imagineer Claude Coates, faced the challenge of integrating a modern roller coaster into the rustic Western-themed Frontierland. The mountain itself was a feat of engineering, crafted from steel and concrete to resemble the red rock formations of the American West. The ride's layout was meticulously planned to include sharp turns, sudden drops, and hidden show scenes, enhancing the narrative of a runaway mine train. Special attention was given to the queue and the surrounding area, ensuring that guests felt immersed in the story from the moment they entered Frontierland. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad officially opened at Disneyland on September 2nd, 1979, and at Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom on November 15th, 1980. The ride was immediately popular, praised for its innovative design and storytelling. It became a staple of the Disney parks. In Disneyland, California, the ride is compact. It's intense and tightly packed into Frontierland. The rock formations glow red and orange, while animatronic miners peek out from the shadows. It's the original, a classic where the thrill comes fast and furious. A year later in Florida's Magic Kingdom, the ride grew bigger, wilder, and the layout sprawls across Frontierland with longer drops, wider turns, and open-air sections where the wind slaps your face. The theming is richer, with a sprawling mining town and surrounding wilderness. You feel like you could be trapped in the Old West itself. But I actually prefer Disneyland's Big Thunder Mountain over the one in Florida. I like the tight turns, the small space. It's such a fun ride. Both are great. I think California wins this one. But traveling across the Pacific to Tokyo, a Big Thunder Mountain opened in 1987. Here the ride borrows the Magic Kingdom's layout, but slows the pacing slightly, letting guests take in every meticulously crafted scene. Unique touches, visual gags, playful scenery, making it unmistakably Japanese, giving the runaway mine train a personality all of its own. And finally, we arrive in Disneyland Paris. In 1992, where Big Thunder Mountain takes on a darker, more mysterious tone. The central peak soars higher, drops feel steeper, and the European-style rockwork gives it a haunted, almost otherworldly quality. The queue teases you with interactive elements. And as the train dives into the tunnels and twists around cliffs, you can almost imagine the ghosts of the miners watching your every move. Each ride tells the same story, a runaway train in a gold mine, but each park tells it differently, which is why I love it. Some are wild and crazy, some slow and scenic, some steeped in shadow and mystery. If you have never been on this ride, each one is a miniature locomotive. The front car is shaped like a steam engine, painted a rusted red-orange with peeling gold letters that reads Big Thunder Mining Company. Behind it trails 5 open passenger cars. They're low and narrow, their sides built from faux wood planks and riveted metal. Each car holds 30 riders, 2 across on hard, smooth benches, divided by a simple lap bar that clicks down across your thighs. There are no shoulder restraints, just that single lap bar that holds you in as the train jerks and rumbles through the mountain. The success of Big Thunder Railroad marked a significant achievement in Disney's commitment to blending thrilling rides with rich narratives, setting a precedent for future attractions. But these rides don't come without tragedy. And that's what I'm here for. Because on March 10th, 1998, tragedy struck at Disneyland when a 5-year-old boy suffered a horrific accident on Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. As the train temporarily paused before reaching the unloading area, the boy's foot became caught between the passenger car's running board and the edge of the platform. The injuries were severe, so severe that all of the toes on his left foot had to be amputated. The incident prompted changes and safety improvements to the ride. They changed the cars so that you cannot put your feet outside of the vehicle at all. Yet the family has maintained that the park has never publicly acknowledged that this accident was the reason behind those changes. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad has always promised thrills. But on September 5th of 2003, the thrill turned to terror. Marcelo Torres, 22 years old, climbed aboard that day like any other guest. Full of anticipation, he sat next to his best friend. The train lurched forward, rattling along the wooden tracks, past glowing dynamite blasts and the echoing of ghosts in a simulated gold rush. But something went horribly wrong. One of the locomotive's axles, improperly secured during maintenance, gave way. In a heartbeat, the train's front car lifted from the tracks, smashing against the tunnel ceiling before landing on the first passenger car. Screams filled the air. Marcelo Torres suffered fatal injuries, severe blunt force trauma, and extensive internal bleeding. 10 other riders were hurt, some gravely. Vincent Gutierrez, a guest on the ride that day, shared his experience with the Los Angeles Times. Quote, "All of a sudden, I heard something really loud and shaky. I told myself, this isn't normal." End quote. The park went silent. Investigators confirmed that human error, an official investigation by the California Division of Occupational Safety and Health, revealed that the accident was caused by the failure of a retaining bolt on the train's floating axle. Basically, a small bolt from the leading wheel came out, which caused that leading wheel to come off. This small error had turned a ride of joy into a scene of tragedy. Disneyland responded immediately, retraining staff, overhauling maintenance procedures, and inspecting every inch of the track. Marcelo Torres' family filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the Walt Disney Company. The lawsuit alleged that Disney had made cutbacks in its maintenance department and knew, or should have known, that the design of Big Thunder Mountain was unsafe from the beginning, causing numerous unreported derailments, near misses, and component part failures, repeatedly over its 25-year history. A park spokesperson, Leslie Goodman, told the LA Times, quote, "Our own analysis found that the accident was caused by incorrectly performed maintenance tasks required by Disneyland policy and procedures that resulted in a mechanical failure." End quote. An Anaheim police report revealed that Big Thunder Mountain's attraction personnel noticed unusual sounds on the train before it had crashed. The Torres family was represented by the same lawyer who represented a family of another man killed in 1998 at Disneyland. A story for another time. But Marcelo Torres's case settled 3 days before trial for a confidential amount, estimated to be in the millions. While the exact settlement amount remains undisclosed, the Torres family allocated $500,000 of the settlement to Brooks College in Long Beach to provide scholarships to aspiring animators, honoring Marcelo's passion for graphic design. When Big Thunder reopened months later in March of 2004, it looked the same. But for those who knew the story, the shadows in the tunnel seemed a little darker. The clatter of the tracks a little sharper, a chilling reminder that even the happiest place on earth can harbor a nightmare. And less than 10 months later, on July 8, 2004, a family from Telluride, Colorado, a mom, dad, and their 10-year-old son, boarded one of the runaway mine trains, ready for a wild ride. They didn't know that under the cheerful music and the echo of fake dynamite blasts, something wasn't right. Deep in the control booth, a new operator wrestled with a glitch in the system. The ride had been plagued with problems ever since reopening after the fatal derailment less than a year before. Engineers had promised it was safe, but the software didn't always agree. As the train barreled into the final curve and slowed into the station, the brakes should have caught, and they didn't. With a mechanical groan that turned every head on the platform, the family's train slammed into another motionless train sitting ahead. The impact sent bodies jolting forward, screams echoing over the speakers as dust and the scent of hot metal filled the air. The boy clutched his neck, his mother's arm was bleeding, his father grimaced, unable to stand. Cast members rushed in, shouting for medical assistance over the radio while the crowd stared. Within minutes, the ride was shut down again. Within hours, it was sealed off. Again. Disney officials would later call it a minor incident. But for the Telluride family, it was anything but minor. The father would need surgery. The boy would have nightmares of the mountain that moved on its own. And when they sued, they said what many had whispered since the last incident, that Disneyland had rushed the reopening, ignoring the warning signs of a cursed attraction. Big Thunder Mountain stayed closed for weeks, but when it reopened, guests lined up once again, eager to ride the runaway train through the haunted hills of Frontierland, never knowing that not long before it had run away for real. Across the United States, in Disney World on February 1st, 2017, a cool evening at Disneyland, a 54-year-old man climbed aboard one of the rattling mine trains, smiling as the lap bar locked down into place. The train lurched forward, the fake dynamite blasted, and the cave swallowed him into darkness. Minutes later, as the train coasted back into the station, something was wrong. He wasn't moving. Cast members rushed to his side, calling for medical help, but his pulse was gone. It wasn't the ride's fault, at least not directly. He had a pre-existing medical condition. The Orange County medical examiner didn't even open a case, claiming it natural causes. No trauma, no investigation. And Disney reopened the ride that same day. The trains kept running until 6 years later, on May 22nd, 2023, history repeated itself. Another man, 44 years old this time, climbed into one of those same orange cars. He laughed as the train sped through the tunnels, past the flickering lanterns and fake bats. When the ride ended, he collapsed, And once again, the report said the same words: death by natural causes. No mechanical failure, no derailment, no investigation. Just two men who came to ride the mountain made of wood and steel and never walked away. And that leads us to Disneyland Paris. On April 25th, 2011, that sense of adventure turned suddenly terrifyingly real. As one train climbed the hill, a large piece of fiberglass rock, part of the ride's meticulously crafted scenery, came loose. In an instant, it fell on the passing train below. The sound of the impact was deafening, a horrific clash against the screams of passengers. 5 guests were injured in the incident. One man, 38 years old, suffered serious injuries and was rushed to a Paris hospital. The other 4 were treated on the scene, shaken but thankfully stable. Witnesses later described the surreal moment. The carefully designed illusion of a crumbling mine became very real, very dangerous. Disneyland Paris immediately shut down the ride, launching a full inspection and investigation. Every bolt, every piece of scenery, every safety procedure was examined to prevent anything like this from happening again. The ride would eventually reopen, but for those who experienced it or even heard the story, that memory of sudden falling rock would linger. A reminder that even in the most controlled environments, it can harbor moments of real danger. And in that same year in October, on a calm day at Disneyland Paris, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad was carrying guests along its winding tracks through the rugged European-style wilderness. The train creaked slowly over a flat section of track, a momentary pause of the otherwise fast-paced adventure. And that's when something went horribly wrong. 2 of the train cars derailed, tipping slightly as the passengers clutched the safety bars. Their hearts were racing not with thrill but with fear. The ride screeched to a halt. The chaos erupted and staff rushed to help those affected. 2 guests sustained injuries in the incident. Though thankfully nothing life-threatening, the derailment shook the park's reputation for safety and left riders shaken. The ride was immediately closed for inspection. Engineers combed over every inch of the track, ensuring that nothing like this could ever happen again. And it hasn't. But if you are seeking the safest Big Thunder Mountain experience, Tokyo Disneyland stands out, with no reported incidents or accidents on its version of the ride. But when the sun dips low over the frontierland, and Big Thunder Mountain Railroad begins its nightly rumble, on the surface, it's a runaway mine train, thrilling families with twists and turns and drops. But those who work at the parks or ride alone after hours say there's something else lurking in the shadows. The first hint is always in the shadows. Guests have glimpsed a miner half-seen standing along the tracks, his eyes glowing faintly in the dark. He disappears before anyone can react, leaving behind the echo of footsteps that don't match the clatter of the train. Some claim he's one of the miners who never left, a specter tethered to the tracks where the accidents occurred. But then there are the platform sounds. Maintenance crews have reported hearing the train moving on its own. Metal screeching on the rails, wood creaking, wheels clattering, long after the last rider has left. Some say it's the replay of past tragedies. The ride itself seems alive. On Paris nights, lights flicker and the shadow of rocks appear to shift along the walls. Employees whisper that the ride has moods, that the tunnels themselves watch you, testing your courage. Cameras have captured fleeting ghostly shapes, always in the corner of your eye, always gone when you turn to look. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad has thrilled millions. And yet behind every twist, drop, and turn, there's a darker story. There's a story that I have come across multiple times researching this episode. A man died during construction. A large piece of machinery dropped a piece of metal on the man. But I cannot confirm this. And Disney has hid this rumor well if it's true. But within the last year during construction of the remodel of Big Thunder Mountain, a man was captured lifeless, laying next to the track. News reports and social media accounts reported a death. The guy was just taking a nap. Poor guy was called out worldwide for sleeping on the job. And now you know the history of the wildest ride in the West. And we will continue to ride. We will climb aboard the runaway train, heart pounding, eyes wide with excitement. And for a few minutes, we let ourselves be transported to another time. A wild, untamed frontier where the thrill and the danger collide. Maybe that's why Big Thunder Mountain endures. It's more than just a ride, it's a story, a history, a thrill, and for some, a brush with the unexplained. So next time you hear the clatter of the tracks or feel a sudden chill on a warm day, remember, the mines of Big Thunder are not just carved from rock and steel. They're carved from the memories of those who rode before, some of whom may never truly left. And that perhaps is the true magic and the true mystery of Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Death Kiss Traveler. I hope you found these stories as intriguing and chilling as I did. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad has always been one of my favorite Disney rides, full of thrills, twists, and that unmistakable sense of adventure. But after digging into the history, the accidents, the injuries, and even the whispers of ghostly shadows, I know I'll never ride it the same way again. This podcast is written by me, Marissa, produced by Sunkissed Traveler. Are you thinking of taking a vacation? Disney, a Caribbean cruise, or how about a weekend at a ski resort? No matter where you want to travel, Sunkissed Traveler can take the stress out of planning a vacation. Plus, find you the best deals. Link in show notes or visit sun-kissedtraveler.com. I'll see you next week.